Hi, good morning. My name is Taylor Doyle, and I'm going to be talking to you about my fall 2014 internship experience. I had the opportunity to do my internship as a marketing assistant for Colton, Groome and Company. This is a financial management firm in South Asheville. It's been around since 1950. And when I first started at Colton Groome, I had no idea exactly what they did. And turns out they are a financial management firm, and I had zero experience with this industry. They have three main lines of business that they focus on. One is life insurance, the other is retirement plans, and the last is personal investments. I've worked at Colton Groome for the past year and a half in this marketing assistant capacity. So for my internship, I knew that I would have to diversify my role and find a deliverable project that was both a learning experience for myself and also a tangible benefit for Colton Groome. So for my internship, all of my duties were new. My boss was even someone different than before. I was previously working under the director of marketing and client affairs, who would still oversee my internship, but I would now report to Matt Groome, who's the director of retirement plans. So retirement plans is the line of business that I focused my internship on. And the initial plan was to coordinate, market, and execute two events for the retirement plan sector of the company, something that not only has never been done at Colton Groome, but planning an event was completely foreign to me as well. I've never planned one for a company. So although I love marketing, which is my concentration, a lot of people think that that's pretty similar to event planning, but for me, I don't really have that same experience. So the two events we began planning for during the initial stages were to be given as a workshop like event style. So this was for both prospects and clients, and we also were going to invite centers of influences here in Asheville and the financial management community. And this was going to be a way to generate buzz, publicity, and ultimately new business for Colton Groome, or at least that's the plan. So one of the events was to be held in Waynesville. Matt felt that there's room for growth in Waynesville's retirement plan market, and Colton Groome's contact and networks there would make it really easy for us to have a successful event. And the second event was to be held the same week at the Colton Groome offices here in Asheville. The event was originally going to be called a seminar, and it was focusing on the various changes in regulation in retirement plans, so the financial sector and updates about all of the new guidelines. And we were to have four presenters and then myself hosting. And we had three companies that co-sponsored the event with us. So that was really great. We had that support pretty early on. So I always had a lot of great people on my team, and I'm really thankful for that experience in my internship. So as time progressed, we were also able to secure something called a SHRM credit to offer people for coming to the event. So this is basically a credit that HR professionals and businesses need to earn per year. So that was really great, and we put that on the invitation. And the overall topic of the event was to be called, it's basically on understanding IRS and Department of Labor audit hot button issues and how retirement plan sponsors can address them. So during my initial planning phase, I failed to realize how big of a task simply getting people to this event would be. It was going to be held during a business day, during the lunch hour, and I was asking people to take time out of their workday to join us for a workshop on financial regulation and auditing, which may not be, the ideal way someone wants to spend their lunch break, even if they're in accounting already. So fortunately, I had that credit to appeal to people with, as well as free food. And Matt came to me approximately 6 weeks before the event date, feeling that we should solely focus on the Asheville event. And if all goes well, we can move forward with an event in Waynesville maybe in the future. So this would be one of the many changes I wasn't expecting, but worked out in the end because the Asheville event in itself was more challenging and time consuming than I anticipated. So I most likely would not have had the success I had if we had done both events. So the most difficult task of the internship for me was getting the event invitation designed and printed. I talked about this frequently in my journal as far as obstacles and things I needed to work on because it consumed a lot of my time that I spent at Colton Groome. Invitations seemed like really easy to do when I first thought about them, and I was really not anticipating spending as much time as I did on them. So they were sent out by hard copy for approximately around 300 people, and businesses in the surrounding Asheville area. And I also sent out an e-invitation that gave people an option to RSVP by email or phone, which was really effective. I found that the e-invitation worked well, and I got more feedback and responses from the e-invitation, but I really liked the idea of doing a hard copy invite as well, because we were able to use our branding with that and get our name out, and maybe someone would have our invite laying on the desk or maybe on their bulletin board, and that way we were able to really spread our name, because Colton Groome doesn't do a lot of, they don't have really great marketing as far as being known in the community. A lot of their clients are, extremely satisfied with their services, but we don't have, a great referral system. And so this is the main reason that I chose to do my internship with this company, is I want to help them expand their marketing needs, because they're, you can be really great with your customer service and the way that your clients feel about you, but if you're not doing efforts to grow, especially in a small town like Asheville, then you're not going to see a lot of growth. So the event was held on Tuesday, November 11th at 12 p.m. and we were able to host 21 guests, which was really exciting. That was the goal. We hope to have 20. So it was really kind of chaotic at the end, because we didn't have the first person RSVP until 9 days before. So I had several nightmares that no one would show up, and it was really exciting that we had this perfect number of guests, that every chair was full, and it turned out really great. We had awesome catering, we had great audio and visual for the presentation, and things just really came together. And I learned that there's so many details in events. It really is micromanaging and relying on people to be good team members. So the only hiccup along the way was one of the most important co-hosts and also one of the most charismatic presenters that we were to have was unable to attend, which would have made the presentation that much better. So overall, we had a really good success with attendee feedback, both during the event and following, but I do feel like the event was a little dry. So in the future, I would like to maybe do something different in the event to get people more involved. There wasn't a day during my internship, though, that I wasn't busy. There was always something that I planned to finish that day and maybe had to postpone to the next day and more. I also knew that every day I was at the office, I would be asked to do something that I wasn't originally planning to do. So I really had to really time manage my days there and really learn to say no and really focus on what I wanted to do that day. In the first few weeks, I sat down with Matt several times and went over our goals, expectations, and an executive plan. And from there, we had a meeting with our co-host and set up a budget. And our budget was $1,500. And I'd never even spent half of that money. And in retrospect, I think that that was kind of a not the most wise thing. I wish I would have not tried to cut costs as much and just kind of, like, as far as the invitation, it took a lot of my time, and I could have afforded to get it professionally done. And I talk a lot about that in my journal, because I just feel like sometimes your time is worth more than money, and that's something I really learned through this experience. I also had a lot of time wasted waiting on the other co-hosts that we had from these other companies, who would sometimes get back to me a week later with little details. So looking back, I wish I had planned for this type of time delay more. And I met with my internship hosts and co-hosts a few more times in late September through mid-October to review and change the invitation. And I spent a lot of time looking for stock paper at office supply stores here in Asheville that would print well and not eat a lot of our budget. And on estimate, the iterations of the invitation and reprinting took me almost 2 to 3 weeks time. So this is when I realized that having a backup invitation to be sent by email would be a great idea. And that's when I sent that out.